Welcome to our double angle formulas part 4 video. Let's take a look at our example. Use a double angle formula to evaluate the expression below, secant of 4 pi over 3. Since we don't have a double angle formula that directly uses secant, what we're going to do is to actually rewrite secant in terms of cosine. Recall that secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so we can rewrite this as 1 over cosine of 4 pi over 3. Now, focusing our attention on just cosine, we can actually apply a double angle formula. So notice that the input here for cosine is 4 pi over 3, and our double angle formula is 2 theta. So let's go ahead and match those up. So let 2 theta be equal to 4 pi over 3. Now, with that said, we're going to divide by 2 on both sides of the equation so we can actually get the theta by itself. So let's go ahead and divide by 2 here and by 2 here, which means that theta is equal to 4 pi over 6. But after we divide both numerator and denominator by 2, we get that this theta is equal to 2 pi over 3. Now, using our double angle formula, we have that cosine of 4 pi over 3 is equal to cosine square of theta. So we have cosine square of 2 pi over 3 minus sine square of theta. Okay, so we have minus sine square of 2 pi over 3. Now, rewriting this, we get that cosine of 4 pi over 3 is equal to cosine of 2 pi over 3 times cosine of 2 pi over 3 minus sine of 2 pi over 3 times sine of 2 pi over 3. Now recall that cosine is associated with the x-coordinate of that particular angle. So here we look for 2 pi over 3. Now notice that this is the point that corresponds to that particular angle, and the x-coordinate is negative 1/2. So this now becomes negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 minus the sine, which is associated with your y-coordinate. So we have the y-coordinate here is the square root of 3 over 2 times another sine, which is square root of 3 over 2. Now multiplying this becomes the following. We have negative 1 times negative 1 becomes positive 1. 2 times 2 becomes 4. Minus square root of 3 times square root of 3 becomes the square root of 9 over 4. And this can be simplified into 1/4 minus the square root of 9 over 4, but the square root of 9 is 3, so we have 3 over 4. And we have 1/4 minus 3/4, which is negative 2/4. And let's go ahead and divide both numerator and denominator by 2, so we get negative 1/2. So we can conclude that cosine of 4 pi over 3 is equal to negative 1/2. However, what we're interested in is not cosine, but secant. So we can say that secant of 4 pi over 3 is equal to 1 over cosine of 4 pi over 3. In other words, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. But since cosine is negative 1/2, we take the reciprocal of that, which is equal to negative 2. Therefore, we can conclude that secant of 4 pi over 3 is equal to negative 2. And that concludes this particular video on how to use double angle formulas part 4 to evaluate expressions. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.